Good evening. Thank you for coming. It's been a long and sad day. Thank you for enduring it. This is not a press conference to update you on the progress of an investigation. Our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out to those victims' families who were killed and those victims who were otherwise shot. We're here to explain some things and answer the questions we can about what this investigation involves. It is an ongoing, extensive, and expansive investigation with federal, state, and local agencies headed by the FBI. I am joined on stage by U.S. Senator Bob Corker, by Governor Bill Haslam, Mayor Andy Berke of the city of Chattanooga, Special Agent in charge of the FBI for the Eastern District of Tennessee, Ed Reinhold, Special Agent in charge of the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Steve Jerido. I'm Bill Killian, the Eastern District of Tennessee, U.S. Attorney. We will answer those questions that we can answer. We will keep you apprised of this situation as we can. Federal law prohibits us from revealing certain information, and please respect our inability to answer some of your questions. Otherwise, we will explain what we can. I would ask the general public, if you are contacted by the law enforcement agencies or the FBI, please cooperate. If you think you have information that might assist this investigation, please call the FBI and they will deal with that accordingly. Otherwise, as far as we know at this juncture, there are no safety concerns for the general public. So with that being said, I turn it over to Governor Bill Haslam, Governor of Tennessee.
Thank you, sir. Chattanooga is a great city with a broken heart tonight. It was, as the U.S. Attorney put it very well, it's been a tragic and long and sad day. And I think all of our hearts go out to the families of the four Marines who lost their lives. In the middle of that, there has been some heroic action by the Marines who lost their lives and some others there at the facility who did everything they could to minimize the damage. Some Chattanooga Police Department officers and some Hamilton County Sheriff's Department officers. I want to say one thing and then I'll turn it over to Senator Corker, but I've been very impressed with the FBI's commitment to finding out everything possible in this and devoting the resources to answer every question that we all want answered and that we'd like answered tonight. But I'm incredibly impressed with the commitment they've already shown and with the commitment of the local law enforcement folks, the state people, as well as the federal officers to do everything they can. So on behalf of the state of Tennessee, we're grateful for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Senator Corker.
Thank you, Governor. Our nation mourns the loss, the senseless loss of four of our nation's heroes. And another one lays in very serious condition here in a local hospital. Also today, one of our great men in blue is wounded in the hospital, certainly with not too serious but of condition, but someone who certainly came to the aid. This is a great city, and I know that our city, as will our nation, come around the families who will need support, who have the sudden shock of loss of a loved one who came to work today, carrying out their duties in a normal way, doing the things that our great military men and women do to protect us and to carry out the duties in support of making sure that we continue to be the great nation that we are. And today, senselessly, four of them are gone and one is fighting for their life. I too want to thank the outstanding state and local officials that have come to the aid. The FBI has been outstanding, Bill Killian's done a great job. The FBI will very soon lay out the details for you as they can, but I want to thank them so much. And again, I know this community will come around these families. This community will do everything that they can to ensure that these law enforcement folks have everything they need to understand why this young person had the motive, the desire to do this senseless thing which has shaken our nation. And I'll turn it over to the mayor of this great city, a city full of people who care deeply about others, Mayor Berke.
Thanks, Senator. This has been a long day for our city. Hopefully soon I'm going to put my head down for a little while, and I just thought I'd say a couple of things that I'm going to think about as I drift off for a few minutes. I'm going to think about this afternoon as I came back to the Police Service Center with Chief Fletcher and walked up to see a woman who was at the scene telling the chief about the heroic deeds that one of her fellow officers did to help her and to save another one of our officers. I'm going to think about another officer who was at the scene who engaged the criminal, telling us about how the training that he had received helped make sure that the actions didn't have greater effect. And I'm going to think about another officer who was truly my friend, who as I hugged him and said, "Good job," shook just a little bit. This is the reality of what happened in our city today and the tremendous work of our law enforcement officers. Also, I'm going to be thankful that these people who, over the course of my couple of years, aren't just employees of the city, but truly people that we care about and know that they're home with their families tonight. And I'm going to think about those who aren't. We have 4 families, 4 people who died, who won't be seeing their families this evening. And we live in the volunteer state, a state that's rich with tradition and affiliation with our armed forces. And we cannot countenance what happened to those 4 families today. So our hearts ache for them. We understand as a community what it takes to heal. We're thankful for those who are home safely, and we will certainly give a prayer in all of our hearts for those who aren't. We thank you for coming out tonight. As we close out this portion, we want to answer whatever questions that we have, and I'll bring up Ed Reinhold from the FBI. He's most likely to have answers to specific questions about the ongoing investigation. Questions?
Motive. Any idea of what motivated this man to do this?
No, we have no idea at this point what his motivation was behind this shooting.
Do you have any possible nexus to international terrorist organizations?
We are just beginning this investigation. We will explore that option, but at this point we don't have anything that directly ties him to international
Who's
terrorism.
your gut tell you? Is this a lone wolf, or is this a person with connections, self-radicalized, obstructed from this?
I can't speculate on what his motivation would have been, or what or if any affiliation.
Have you found any evidence that he traveled to the Middle East recently?
Again, I'm not going to discuss that particular of the investigation. Let me just say, we are at the beginning of this investigation. We still have 3 active crime scenes that we are investigating. It's going to be a long night for our folks. We'll be here for several days processing just the crime scenes. We continue to cover every possible lead. And again, if I can reiterate what the U.S. Attorney said, I do ask the public, if you have information, to contact us. I can provide, I actually have it written down, our phone number, 865-602-7582. If you have information, please contact us, or contact the local police department, who will then provide that information to us. Yes, ma'am.
Any inclination to the fact that Abdulazeez had a national connection? We're learning that he may have worked in Franklin, Tennessee. His coworker said he called out sick a few times this week. We're hearing from employees there. any validity to that?
We are checking every possible place that he could reside or could have resided, visited, where he's shopped, where he went to school, who his friends were, if he worked out at a gym, every possible lead. So we have information that he's been in various locations, and we will check each and every one of those.
Can you say how he died? Was it self-inflicted?
That has not been determined as far as how he died. An autopsy will be conducted over this weekend by the U.S. government, and we will determine how the cause of death for him.
What kind of guns did he
Can you
Yes,
describe
ma'am.
the sequence of events in which he was shot the Marines and then was
As far as we can tell at this point, again, it's preliminary, is he started his shooting over at the recruitment center on Lee Highway, moved from there. We do not believe he exited his vehicle at Lee Highway. We believe he shot from inside the vehicle, moved over to the Naval/Marine Corps center here on the other, about 15 miles away, where he did enter the facility, exited his vehicle, and engaged in gunfire there.
Any indication that there may be others involved in this?
There's no indication at this point that anybody else was involved. Obviously, we're still at the beginning of this investigation. We will explore any possibility, and that includes whether or not anyone else was involved in.
Have you taken anybody else?
I'm sorry, let's go back here.
Are you gonna release the names of the Marines yet?
We will not release the names of the Marines, and it is our policy that we will not release the names of the victims at all. The Department of Defense will have to make that determination as to whether or not they want to release the names of the Marines.
What about the police officer?
The Chattanooga Police Department has requested that that officer's name not be released for his privacy. He has asked for that, and we will honor that.
What about his condition, his current condition, to know what's?
His current condition?
He's doing as well as can be expected after being shot by a brazen criminal like this.
And can you go into just a little more detail about the Reserve Center shooting? It appears from aerial photographs that he made it past the Jersey barriers, crashed through a gate, and then you said that he entered the building. It's the first we've heard of that. Can you go into more detail?
I'm sorry, I didn't necessarily say he entered the building. He entered the facility, meaning inside the gate.
Oh, but he did not go in the building?
We're still investigating that as a possibility.
Was anybody else arrested?
Weapons?
No.
Weapons?
He had several weapons. I'm not going to go into detail as to what those weapons are. Again, that's potential evidence for future prosecution if we need it.
Sir, what can you tell us about the Hickson investigation on Colonial Way?
I'm not familiar with the Hickson and Villas.
That's his house?
Oh, the residence, there is a residence that we are in the process of searching to see if there's any evidence connected to this.
So a woman was handcuffed there. Do you know, can you tell us who she?
Nobody else has been taken into custody. It's a common practice for us when we enter a location to secure anybody in there just for the safety of the officers.
Who was she though?
We're going to have to conclude the press conference at this time. We will schedule a press conference tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll do them daily at 3 o'clock unless something changes that would cause us to do it earlier. Thank you very much.
Are you going to do them here, sir? Here. Special agent, or are you going to do the press conference here?